Hey, everybody, welcome back to our 5-minute follow-up from our original podcast with Don Pease. But Don, why don't we just remind everybody real quick who you are and what you do in a brief, your 30-second elevator speech, so to speak.
Hi there. My company is Dawn Sign Tech. We are sign manufacturers, installers, fabricators. We do a lot more, and we'll get into that.
That's great, actually, because I thought you were going to go into my question. But so Don, our viewership has a lot of follow-up questions, which is why we started this segment from a spinoff of our podcast. And one of the questions that came back to me was, Dawn Sign Tech sounds great. They've seen your work, they loved it, and you do amazing work. But what if they don't have a brick and mortar? Typically, when we think of signage, we think of outdoor signs or something on the side of a building. But what about companies that are either home-based companies or strictly online companies? Should they be thinking about signage as well?
Absolutely. There's so many different ways that signage can be used. Signage can also be defined in many different ways. So people think of a sign company, all they think about is the sign on the building or the signs inside that identify where to come into. But there's so much more. We do vehicle lettering and vehicle wraps. You pay for advertising in the newspaper, $700 to run 3 days in a newspaper. For less than that, you can letter up your vehicle, and everywhere it goes, it's advertising for you 24/7, one-time payment, and it just keeps giving. So there's one example. Another one is a lot of home-based businesses do attend events, like fall festivals or fairs or farmers markets or trade shows. We do that too. So we can do everything from the tents, we can do the inflatables that flap around. We do coolers and chairs. We can do tablecloths. We can do those fancy backdrops that are behind you. We can do what they call attractants. So flutter flags, again, your inflatables,
Right.
Banners, frames that go outside that you can sit outside your tent. Or even if you're inside, there are floor mount models as well. So there's so many things that can be done for your visibility to keep you professional looking, even if you don't have a building to put a sign on. The other things that come into play are we do business cards, pens, and clothing. Anything that's going to identify you, we consider signage. Banner stands, floor markings. You walk into a corner store and you see those little things on the signs on the floor. Sometimes they're advertising, sometimes they're giving you directions. All those things are included, and we can make them so that they're a really high bond. So if there's going to be walked on a lot, it stays. But if you're at an indoor event, we can put something down that's a low tack, that's easy to pull up, leaves no adhesive behind, won't damage anything. So there's so many options that can be done with signage. I'm thinking the other thing is that some people work out of a residence and it's small. Yeah. Residential signs can only be very small, but they can be lovely and they can be attractive, attention getting, without being really expensive, but still being nice and letting people that they know that they've arrived. For instance, some photographers have a studio built onto their home, or they have a beautiful manicured lawn that they take pictures at. And so I've done several of those. We've done some beautiful carved gold leaf signs, so that when people are driving along this residential street, where is this place? There it is. There's that beautiful sign hanging from underneath their mailbox.
That's a great point too. That's a great point. So we don't have a lot of time. We got probably a little bit less than a minute left in our 5-minute follow-up, but I just want to make sure I understand this and reiterate to everybody, whether you have a brick or mortar or not, signage is really important, number one, and there's an abundance of varieties of what you would consider signage. So really look into your branding and how it matches with that what we call signage, but it's really well beyond that, and you should be thinking outside the scope of just a brick and mortar.
Right. It's all about your identity. It's all about being noticed. Is it on your shirt? Is it on your giveaways? Is it on your tent? Is it on your chair? Is it on your tablecloth? It's all about the professional look and being identifiable.
Perfect. Well, Don, we're just about out of time here, so I'm going to say thank you so much. I really appreciate it. I appreciated you on the podcast to begin with, and this has been even more fabulous, so I'm very grateful to you. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me again.
All right, everybody, thanks, and bye.